Hi friends, this is Carly and I'm back today with another Volume 1 manga review. Today I'm going to be talking about Ghostly Things. From Seven Seas Entertainment, the author and artist are USHIO Shirotori. And this is a supernatural thriller / mystery about a little girl named Yachio, whose father is a researcher. We don't really know what kind of researcher. He is off doing research though. When he sends her to live in this manor in the countryside where she is going to be looking for her mother. We know that her mother is missing. We're not really sure why or what happened. There's definitely a supernatural element to her mother's being missing. And we know that she's looking for something called the Book of the Dead in order to find her mother. So, as far as the story goes, this book has all of the elements of something that I would really love. The cover artwork really drew me in. It's so beautiful. And I got the idea, although I'll talk about this in a second, that there might be some elements of Japanese folklore in this book, just based on the imagery. It seems very traditional, and it seems to have a lot going on. So I was really looking forward to that. The book is divided basically into 3 sections, the first of which is when Yachio moves into the house and discovers that it is a crossing over point for spirits who are in this realm to move into the spirit realm. She learns this from a creature named Moro, who we can see here. I'm going to try to get focus right here. He's a small little, almost dumpling-shaped guy who she meets right away. He takes her cat Fuku as a steed and rides him around. And she learns from him that the waters in the cellar, the floor of her cellar fills with water and it appears to be flooded. But what it actually is a river that is a crossover from the human world into the spirit realm. In an encounter with a strange white dragon, we'll show him as well, that she encounters. He's right here, and he's little when she meets him, but apparently he grows. He grows when he gets in the water. Yachio is chasing after him, falls into the spirit river, and is rescued by Moro and Fuku, and learns from Moro then that because she's been in the waters of the in the basement that transition from the human world to the spirit realm, that now she will be more sensitive to visions of spirits. And the story continues on with an experience that she has with the spirits in her house, where she's getting some to cross over. And then she has an experience with spirits that appear to be earth spirits who are responsible for getting plants to bloom. I don't want to tell too much about these stories because unfortunately there isn't much to them, and telling much more than just basically what they're about would really be sort of revealing everything. In the final section of this book, we meet the villain, a person who comes to meet Yachio, is dishonest or disingenuous about what his purpose there is, leaves, and then we find out secondhand through a conversation that he has with another person after he's left her home that he also is looking for the Book of the Dead. So this will be, I think, the conflict of the entire series. So as I'm sure you have probably guessed, I was a little bit disappointed. By a little bit, I was very disappointed in this book. I really had high hopes for it, but unfortunately, it's just not put together clearly, and there are a lot of little things that take you out of the story while you're reading. First of all, I read a lot of manga, as I'm sure you guys have gotten so far from my reviews and from my book room, and you know, these volumes, I think for anyone, are not cumbersome. This is an ordinary sized volume. The artwork is gorgeous. It does use art in the way I think that it's meant to be used, meaning that there is much more detailed and gorgeous artwork than there is dialogue. So this is a heavy dialogue page, and it's just not that heavy. It really utilizes the medium, I think, the way that it's meant to be utilized. And still, just for the convoluted nature of the way that this story was told, it took me multiple tries to get through it. I found myself distracted. I found myself getting bored. I found myself just unable to get into what was happening. For one thing, Yachio, during this entire story, also goes to school, which, we see a lot in manga and anime, young children, I think Yachio is about 14, being sent to Tokyo or to another city or another town for school. So the notion of a child living on their own to go to school isn't what is bothering me about this. What bothers me is that we never get a clear sense in this book is if we are supposed to recognize the world of the story as the world that we live in and there are supernatural things happening, or is it an imaginary world in which it looks like our world but supernatural things happen and everyone's aware of it? Or is it a world entirely of the creator's imagination? We just can't get a handle on that. So while Yachio is on this very supernatural mission to find her missing mother, this thing called the Book of the Dead, there's the crossing over river in her home. She sees spirits of all types and kinds around her all the time. Then she gets up in the morning, goes to school, chit-chats with her friends for a few minutes, eats lunch, and then we get right back into the story. And the reason I think that these scenes are so distracting and so difficult to consume is because nothing happens in them, and nothing adds to the story through them. So we don't learn more about Yachio. We aren't introduced to some critical friend. We don't get to see some outside struggle that she's having in the real part of the world while she's also dealing with the supernatural stuff. They're just scenes, very short scenes. I think there are 2 of them, and they happen and then they're over. And I can't say what the author is trying to do with these. Is it supposed to bring levity? Is it supposed to humanize Yachio for us? Is it supposed to be letting us know that we're in a real ordinary world? I have no idea, and I just can't get a grip on it. And it really, really messed me up while I was reading. It took me out of things far too much, and it slowed me down. So not knowing the world that we're in is a really, really big check against this story. As you know, when you're dealing with supernatural stories, one of the first things that needs to happen is establishment of the world. So the very first, even if we're looking at something like, I've been watching My Hero Academia this morning, and even in the world of My Hero Academia, in the first volumes and the first episodes of the series, what we find out is that this is the world. This is what happened. Everybody developed quirks, and now only a tiny percentage of people. We get this very detailed history and account of the world that the story exists in. We do not get that with Ghostly Things. So it's hard to know what's happening. You almost get the idea it's a very dreamlike sort of experience, and I understand that things in the spirit world would be sort of nebulous like that, but Yachio doesn't feel like that. So the things that are happening seem strange and difficult to grasp, but she sort of grasps onto them right away, and that's reality. So because the reality of the world that she comes from isn't clearly established, and we don't know the role that the spirit realm plays in that world, it's almost possible that Yachio could be out entirely of touch with reality. So it makes her an unreliable character because we don't know what her mental state is, because we don't know what the world that she comes from is like. And that's kind of a lot to process, but I think that is really what gave me difficulty with this book. The stories are disjointed, and then these snippets of reality, of slice of life moments that are injected in an already really sort of disconnected, out of the realm of everyday experiences story makes it even harder to connect. Again, the artwork is super beautiful on this, but it took me so long to get through it that I am left, unfortunately, with absolutely no desire whatsoever to continue this book. I had hoped, based on the imagery, the sort of traditional art style, and all of the different creatures that are depicted on the cover and on the back cover of the book, that there would be some element of Japanese folklore in this story, and there may be, very well, but it was not explained if there are elements of folklore, Japanese history, or fairy tales. they are told in a way that people from that culture would understand, but not to explain to someone from another culture. So either those elements weren't present or they were not explained clearly enough for me to get. And it was just another thing that didn't hit home for me on this one. So sadly, Ghostly Things is not one that I will be continuing. I spent too much time on reading the book and subsequently making this video to feel that it was a success for me. If you have read Ghostly Things and you enjoyed it, please share in the comments below if there's anything that you think that I missed. If you read it and didn't like it, if you have better suggestions for a supernatural mystery or thriller that you'd like me to read, please share those in the comments below. I'm always happy to read along with anyone who's willing to do that with me. So if you've got anything you'd like to book club, please share that with me as well. And as always, if there's something you'd like me to review, whether it's old or new, manga, comic books, I'm happy to do that. I love to do that. I'm always looking for something new to read, and I would love to hear that from you as well. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate everybody that's here. If you have enjoyed my videos, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will be doing more of these same type of reviews and other content coming up very soon. Thanks for being here, and have a great day. Bye, friends.